Hey friends, so in today's video, I'm going to share with you my process on how I take a photo and turn it into art. More specifically, how I take a person and turn them into a cartoon character. So we're going to jump right into it. What I like to look for is not necessarily a beautiful face necessarily. I'm just looking for interesting features. Now, interesting features is subjective because what might be interesting to you might not be interesting to me. But I'm looking for interesting, whether it's like a smile or eyes, something that just kind of seems interesting to me. Again, not really attractive, but just something that looks iconic or different. Different shapes of the head, wrinkles, things like that. A nose that's very defined, very unique in shape. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to do my take on this guy. Love him or hate him, he's got just a very interesting shape to his face. And so I'm going to do my take on it. One of the main things that I look for is the shape of the head. And what I see when I look at him is like a square shaped head. So I'm going to I'm gonna use that as my starting point, as my main source of inspiration for the shape of the cartoon head that I'm gonna go for. So let's go ahead and get started. So I did a few of these sketches of him, and for the sake of time, I just kind of picked the one that was closest to the direction that I wanted to take it in. And what I do, and I've kind of shared this kind of stuff before, is that I draw over top of the sketch a few times. I just kind of keep drawing over and over again until I can kind of get the details and the overall shape and structure the way that I want it. So you'll see me do that a lot, where I'm just kind of drawing over the shape, the sketch. Again, I'm trying to kind of keep everything confined into this square. It's not a perfect square box, but it's more or less within that shape. And then I'll use this liquefy feature to really kind of push and exaggerate some of those things. This here doesn't end up being the final shape, but this is where it starts to get to feel more boxy, kind of like the way that I wanted. Here, I kind of didn't include it in my process, but I kind of warped it a little bit because it was feeling a little too narrow in the neck area, whereas I wanted that to be a little wider. So I kind of changed the overall shape of the head. And then here, just kind of starting to, as I mentioned, draw over top of the sketch. And this is where I really start to kind of get the final lines down. I'm really happy with the final direction of this. So I'm just going to go through and kind of get all these details and all this line work figured out. Now, if there's anything that I didn't explain or that I'm just kind of quickly glossing over that you would like for me to explain, let me know in the comments below. Anything about my sketching or drawing process that you think I could answer or even do a completely other video on, I am more than happy to do that, but I don't know unless you ask and let me know. So be sure to leave a comment below and let me know if there's anything that I can help you out with in regards to my process and how I kind of approach drawings like this. And now we jump into color. This is where I just kind of I give it the base color of the skin, for example, in this illustration, and then I just start to kind of paint the different planes of the face. So the planes that are facing down, that's where the shadows are going to be, and then the planes that are facing up, those are going to be the highlight, like the light areas, sort of like the way you're seeing here. And this is all what starts to kind of make it feel sort of 3D. It starts to kind of give it some shape and make it feel a little bit more believable, and gives everything some more structure. So this is the fun part. I love doing this here, adding the little highlights and things like that. As we move on now here, I did skip some of the process. Really sorry about that. I skipped the eyes and just kind of like the way I blocked out the hair. But for the most part, I think it's pretty much the same process. If you've seen any of my painting videos before, you'll be able to see how a little bit more detail on how I kind of break everything down. If you do want to see more and more, I've done several how I paint and my painting process videos before. I've done a few of them, but if you want to see more, again, I'll remind you again to just let me know in the comments below if there's anything in particular that you see me do that you would like to see me talk more about in detail. please let me know, and I would love to kind of tackle that and do a video more specifically on that. I noticed here that I forgot the eyebrows, so I had to go back in and paint them. I was so carried away on the hair and everything else that I completely missed those eyebrows. His eyebrows are kind of weird. Kind of wish I would have spent a little bit more time on them. But anyways, went back in and kind of filled them up. So now we're pretty much coming towards the end of the painting. And here is where I just kind of start to use maybe some liquify to kind of exaggerate certain things. I kind of wanted to flatten certain areas and then exaggerate other parts, like the front of his hair. I really wanted to kind of push it up some. And then I'm just kind of tweaking other little things. Sometimes it's easier to just paint it in, to just repaint certain areas. And other times I like this liquify tool. I feel like it's a quick way to just kind of fix and tweak things. And I think that's about it. Again, this wasn't like a final polished drawing. This is just something to show you to give you a quick look at how I would take something from photo to a painting, and more specifically for a character. So I do hope that you enjoyed that process. Here's a quick look at the final illustration where I maybe tweaked and kind of fixed a couple other little things. I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one. Keep the fire alive, my friends.